Good morning and welcome back. As many of you may know, I've got a weekly podcast called Tuesday at Dobbs's where I chat specifically about motorbikes, and it's on YouTube every week on a Tuesday, if I can, 5 p.m. A couple of weeks ago, I did my weekly bike of the week as a used Ducati Multistrada. And I said at the end of picking my bike of the week, any Ducati Multistrada owners, let me know, what is the reality of living with this expensive Italian heavyweight? Is it so unreliable and so expensive to live with that it could put you on the brink of a nervous breakdown? What I expected was an endless list of horror stories that I thought will be content gold for my weekly podcast. But the reality was very different. Have a listen to some of the feedback that I got. Freddie, I had a 2018 Multistrada 1260 when they first came out, and yes, it was all you said and more. A superbike on stilts, beautiful handling and great build quality, without doubt the best bike I've ever owned, a true exotic Italian stallion. And yes, modern Ducatis are reliable. I did 31,000 miles on mine over 3 years, including long tours of Europe. Well, I thought that's very nice. And then I looked at the next comment. Freddie, I had never had any mechanical issues with my Multistrada. I loved it while I had it and enjoyed many twisty back roads here in Western USA. I thought, this is strange. They do seem to be universally good. I had a look at the next two comments. Freddie, I've had two Multistradas, a 2010 and now a 2019. Modern Ducatis are very reliable, in particular the 1260 engines. I haven't had a single issue with mine. And I'll do one final one, the very next comment that popped up. Freddie, I owned, since new, a 2016 Multistrada, currently on 65,000 kilometres. I did the Desmo service at 36,000 kilometres, one sprocket change and a front and back, front and back and a chain, 6 oil changes, yada, yada, yada. The last trip was 6,500 kilometres over 8 days from 2 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees. No problem at all. In my experience, incredibly reliable. This universally good feedback was almost so boring I had to stop reading it, because that's not going to grab any attention when I do a podcast and I put the title as Multistradas, very good bikes. I was hoping for some horror stories. Such was the universally just off the scale good feedback from owners of these bikes. I became so genuinely intrigued by these bikes that are often maligned. I thought, I have to try one. It's very rare I get this feeling that the feedback's so unbelievably good, I feel the need to actively go out and try and get one of these bikes. But that's exactly what I did. I didn't even plan it. So 2 days ago, I contacted Ducati and I said, do you have any Multistradas available? And they said, Freddie, honestly, I don't think we do. But they said, let's see if we've got one tucked away that may have come back early. And 30 minutes later, they came back and said, yep, we've got a V4 Rally available, but can you come and pick it up from Silverstone? I said, of course. And today's the day. Just a day after signing all of the paperwork, I'm heading off 2.5 hours away to Silverstone to pick up Maybe, funnily enough, I know it's a popular bike, but one of the unsung heroes within the adventure biking sector. And the reason I say that, everyone always considers the BMW GS as the rugged go-to bike within the sector. Still, there are only a few people who would consider the Multistrada as not just a good bike dynamically, but also incredibly rugged. Well, I'm intrigued, to say the least. That was a lovely ride. I'm pretty much, as you can see, at Silverstone now. Next turning on the left-hand side. I remember this from last time I picked up the Scrambler. Before I get in, I'm going to remove my quad lock so I can attach it to the Multistrada for my sat-nav. For those of you that don't know, Libertatia is a company that Monica and I set up, and this, the tool roll, is our first product. We've got them in 3 colours. They're made of 100% British-made oilskin fabric, and then every single one of them handmade in England by Monica's mum. This is the Kalima tool roll, and I attach it to the front of my bike, and you can attach it pretty much anywhere you want with this army grade, army surplus strap. But you don't need to attach it to your bike if you don't want to, because we've designed it in such a way that the strap comes off with ease. I'll give you a bit of a close-up here so you can see the beautiful patina that starts to appear on the oil skin after a bit of use. This is the exact tool roll I took with me on the Luxembourg trip, and it gets a real leather type patina, which I love about this fabric. You can feel the motorsport and the passion everywhere here. Lovely cars whizzing past, motorbikes, and 200 meters in that direction I can hear engines at full pelt actually going round the Silverstone track. And just behind me I've noticed that is the Aston Martin office. 30 seconds away. I'll turn on the Insta360 because there are almost always amazing cars being worked on in the meters leading up to the Silverstone track. So I'm sure today, height of summer, will be no different. Silverstone Park?
7. 7 is down that way, so that's to the roundabout left. We've got a big sign up there that gives us the...
Yeah, I see it. Thanks a lot.
That's all I'm going on, I don't know which one it is.
Oh, I'll figure it out. Thank you so much. Cheers. Is the Ducati Multistrada V4 Rally. This bike weighs 238 1.8 kilos. And that's before you add even 1 drop of fuel. It's 1158cc V4 engine that produces 170 horsepower. You get everything included for the price I'm about to tell you. That's Panniers everything. They're all included in the Rally pack. And the price that you'll pay for this complete package is £23,590. Usually when I'm given a handover of a bike, when I go and pick up a bike or when one's dropped off to me, I have a 2-minute chat during handover with the person who I'm collecting the bike from. And that handover chat usually consists of what the weather's like and what motorbikes we have in our own personal garages. After that, we wave each other goodbye and we get on with our day. This Multistrada is not like the other bikes. This was a good 10 to 15 minute technical handover, and believe me, I needed every single one of those 15 minutes, because without them, I wouldn't have known where to begin with this bike, because this bike may be well into the realms of car value, but in terms of technology, it's also well into the realms of cars as well. This can match high-end cars with the technology that it offers, and there is no possible way that I can run through everything off the top of my head. So what I'm going to do is give you a brief highlight of some of the fun bits that this bike has. And I'll start from the back. That's not a mechanical issue. These move on purpose, and that's because if there's a side wind on the motorway or dual carriageway, these will move in unison so you don't get blown over to the other side of the road. These 2 switches here, these are so the pillion rider can control the heat of their own seat. They can have it slightly warm or roasty toasty. The rider's seat, don't think he doesn't get his own seat warmth as well. He does, that's all controllable in here through the screen. You've then got, of course, heated grips for the rider. This little lens here and this little lens here are for radar guided cruise control. You've also got an incredibly clever thing here. If I turn the bike on like such, I can then go into the mode settings and I can switch between the different rider modes as you would expect. So you can go through touring, enduro, urban and sport, and that is all lovely. But what makes it exceptionally clever is if I push the suspension button here, I then get to decide what type of ride am I doing? Who am I riding with? Am I riding with a passenger and baggage? Am I riding with a rider and passenger? Or is it just me, the rider and baggage? Or is it just me with no baggage? If I go for just me with no baggage at all, I push that, and I'm sure you can hear the suspension doing its thing. That is the bike setting itself up for the exact specifications that I've asked. It's setting itself up for just me as a rider. And if I have a pillion that's going to jump on with me, quickly jump into the menu there, change that, and then the suspension will automatically adjust in accordance with the load on the bike. I think that's enough, just as a teaser. It's also got a little space here for my mobile and USB charger. But for now, because I've only just got the bike, I've got 2.5 hours to get home, and I've got a feeling it will be one of the most pleasing, relaxing, and memorable rides that I've had after a bike pickup. Let's hit the road. Friday afternoon, 3:30. 25 degrees. I cannot think about anywhere else I'd rather be right now. I must have covered pretty much every kind of riding over the past 3.5 hours. Beautiful, unspoilt, winding country roads with no one about, and then open motorways, and then gridlocked London traffic for the last 2 hours. But it's incredible because I was riding along on the motorway, and you've got all of this tech that cossets you. And then a car comes up on my right hand side to overtake me, and these just work brilliantly. They make perfect sense. They flash amber here when a car is coming up to you, so you know there's a car on your blind spot. I know they've got this technology for cars, but Ducati have done it in such a way that it's really seamless, and it genuinely is useful. I do quite like that. I decided to try the cruise control. So I turned that on, extremely easy to use, and I remember I set it before I left to adaptive cruise control, extremely easy to do, and it's got a memory, so it will remember the adaptive cruise control settings that you've got. So all I do, I press cruise control on, and it will just follow the car ahead of me, and it works. Again, I know this tech's been around for a bit, but to actually feel it on a motorbike working so well, and it really is brilliant in traffic that's a bit, get up to 50 miles an hour, then back to 40, then up to 70. It really helps relaxing when the riding isn't specifically as enjoyable because you're on motorways with lots of traffic. It's genuinely useful. I'll do one more bit as well. The quick shifter I'll mention. It's quick shifter up and down. You don't have to, of course, pull in the clutch, but you also don't have to be accelerating or come off the accelerator. It's just seamless, up, down, and it is silky smooth. It's a very, very nice, relaxing bike. And the final party piece I'll quickly show you before I wrap up the video. Have you ever seen this before? A pannier that fits a helmet with ease. That gives you an idea as to just how massive this thing is. Right, I'll wrap it up there. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Have a brilliant week all, and I'll see you all in the next one.